everybody, it's Dr. Dar here. Welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about 3 mistakes that I've made as an inclusive leader. Listen, one of the things that we need to know about mistakes is that they always are going to happen in leadership. Doesn't matter, we're practicing at home or at work, we're going to make mistakes. And the coolest thing about making mistakes is that we get the opportunity to learn. And when we learn, we better our leadership. So here's one of the first things that I made a mistake in as an inclusive leader is not getting enough feedback from others early enough. And so one of the times in which that I could have did better is when I actually launched the inclusive leadership guide without feedback on the cover, without feedback on what should be involved in the materials. And it wasn't a flop, but I don't think people was as excited as they are when I'm about to launch it now. They were kind of confused as to what it was, what does it do, how does it help people? And so now when I'm relaunching it, what I'm doing is I put out an image for my social media to be able to tell me which cover art is actually better. And so that's the coolest thing about getting people invited and getting people involved is it gets people excited for the product or the program or the outcomes of the things that you all are doing. It's not just about putting things out, it's about making sure that people get an opportunity to give some insights into what you're doing. How you can fix this is by involving different team members and actively seeking feedback and insight from them. Not just saying, this is what you need to do, this is what I expect from you, but asking, what are the best ways in which that I can get your contribution? What are the best ways that I can get your insights? What are some of the best ways that we can get the best out of this experience, not just for ourselves and for others? It's by having those discussions ahead of time. Here's another problem that, or another common mistake that people make when they're practicing inclusive leadership is they overemphasize consensus. And so I get it. We all want to make sure that we have a voice or everybody has a voice. And sometimes we don't want to move forward until everybody has spoken. But sometimes there's a delicate balance between moving forward without voice and moving forward, even though you have some people who are delaying the process because they're shy or they're conservative or they're still thinking about whatever it is that they want to contribute. And so the problem is with that, like we can't stifle creativity, productivity, innovation because of a few voices. And so the goal of this is to make sure that you're trying to be as inclusive as possible, but also not waiting so long that we miss an opportunity. Like, think about it. Like, we are in an election season, and anytime you're in an election season, you're going to know that you're going to have a winner and you're going to have a loser. There was going to be 60 million people who probably did not vote for that person, right? And so they still, as the president of the United States, have to engage those people, even though they didn't vote for them. That's kind of how that is for all of us as leaders. Sometimes we're going to have people who don't like us, who don't like what we're doing, who don't like where we're going or the direction that we have or the vision that we have, and we still have to engage them in some way, shape, or form. And so some ways to fix that is to be able to encourage healthy dialogue or discussion or even debate about the opinions, thoughts, and perspectives that differ from the direction or the product or the process that you are in. While still moving forward, we create a space where people can dissent. And even if they are not going to even if you're not going to use that idea, even if you're not going to use that perspective, you still give people an opportunity and an option to give their thoughts to you. That is going to take you farther than not hearing from them at all. All right. So, what's one of the biggest mistakes that you've made as an inclusive leader? Share your story in the comments below. I want to hear from you. And then also talk about how you address that. Like, what was the solution to that problem? And the third mistake that people commonly make is being too hands off. And so think about it. Like, you want to empower people to take authority and responsibility. At the same time, you don't want to be so out of the loop that if something goes wrong, you have no idea how to address it. And so I remember being a person who used to manage students and the staff. And my staff was like, we were about to do a big event and they wanted more responsibility. But we also had a time where we did this big event and one of my staff leads who planned it all was not going to be at the event. And so I kind of had to take responsibility for them. And one of the things I can tell you is that I want to make sure that my staff felt the most empowered, that they believed that they had everything that they need to be successful. And then so that made me also realize that I was too hands off when it came to this event because I trusted them so much. But when it came to the day of, I was just a little bit out of the loop. And I had to kind of call on my team lead in a time where they were not trying to be bothered. And so I know that kind of caused some friction, but I just wanted to make sure that we were being represented to the best of our abilities in the event. So striking a balance between being so hands off, but also making sure that you're doing check-ins, you're offering guidance, but you're still holding people accountable and giving them space to be able to organize an event or an opportunity or a process so well that we all know what the direction is. And so you don't want to be a micromanager, but you don't want to have your thumb on people so hard that they feel stifled in their creativity and innovation. And so it's always, again, about striking a balance between your mistakes. One of the things that I learned is that how can I help in the planning process, but also still be available at the and live real time to create support systems. As we recap, I want you to remember that it's not about getting everything right. It's about being willing to connect and help when things go wrong. And so if you found this helpful, make sure you like the video, make sure you share the video, comment below. Of course, if you're working on becoming a better leader, subscribe and share this with people who are trying to become greater leaders, right? So my goal is to help you, increase your leadership inclusivity, your confidence, and your impact. And so until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Of course, keep doing the good work.